What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to the American Kaiju. She is a NAGA, North American Grappling Association champion, and making her second appearance for Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, happening October 11th in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it's a part of a four-woman tournament, one-night tournament, and
Yeah.
it's never been done in Bloodsport history, let alone all four of the toughest females on this side of anything. She's the one and only Lindsay Snow. Lindsay, what's going on?
Man, just got done with the gym and headed up to the shop to do this with you. Yeah, you see it, man. This is it.
I mean, you're getting hyped for Bloodsport, aren't you?
Heck yeah. Every day, one day closer, and just keeping my training up, and yeah, just preparing every day for this crazy tournament. Like it's pretty insane that Josh keeps giving me these opportunities to make history, and I couldn't be more honored. It's going to be a lot of fun.
No, I mean, it's first off, I mean, Bloodsport is my favorite North American promotion. And we were talking off air, but I've said this to Josh, like, point blank. It's everything that I love. It's kind of like that strong style Japanese style, or UWF, or MMA meets pro wrestling, right? And it's everything that I love about all
It just
combat
reminds me
sports.
so much of Pride. Like I don't know. I guess that's why I love it so much. It's definitely my favorite too. I'm speechless just because it's such an awesome opportunity to get out there and then show everybody that it's not just a pro wrestler.
Absolutely, absolutely, and especially obviously the last couple months have been absolutely insane, right? But yeah. I mean, the fact that there is a semblance of a return to normality, to an extent, right? And I mean, there have been shows, here and there, over the different parts of the country, right? Some no fans, some limited capacity. But I mean, I want to say October 11th, kind of GCW collective. That's kind of outside of like the WWE, New Japan, and like Impact and AEW. It's kind of the biggest kind of, I don't want to say indie show, but I mean independent from the major organizations.
Yeah.
Of this kind of stature.
Yeah, it for sure is. That's why it's like it's so crazy to be able to be a part of it. The shows that GCW puts on, they're always bangers. It's like you can't go wrong if like you're gonna be on a GCW show or you're gonna attend a GCW show. You're gonna see some crazy shit.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%, good shit only. And I kind of am pissed off that I missed. I think it might have been Joey Janela, whatever show. It was a GCW produced show, but it happened literally like 10 minutes away from me. But it was the one where
Spring Break.
Which one?
Was Spring Break?
I might not have been Spring Break, but it was the one where what's it? Nick Gage, sliced up David Arquette.
Yeah. Oh man. Dude, I was watching cameos of Nick Gage earlier today. He was like just walking around doing his cameos and stuff and posting them online. I don't know. That dude, he pops me. He's so silly. MDK all day.
Man, Nick, I mean, I want to say like they definitely broke the molds with, not just Nick Gage, but like Necro Butcher, like they're of a different elk, altogether.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Hey, it takes all kinds of crazies to be in this business, and to be able to do it well as a crazy.
No, 1,000%, 1,000%. Now, I mean, obviously there are like saner endeavors that getting involved with any sort of combat sport, whether that be pro wrestling, submission grappling, or otherwise. So, how did you become involved?
How did I become involved with which part? Pro
Yeah,
wrestling
all
or
of it.
so when I was little, my dad and I used to watch pro wrestling. Like we used to watch WWE. You know, we'd always like he'd like come around the corner to scare me, and then like just like do the rock eyebrows at me. So I got to mess around with that when I was little, and then that was like my first exposure to pro wrestling. I was watching it with my dad, and then as I got older, I started watching like Pride and like UFC and stuff like that as I got older, and then I wanted to train jujitsu, so I started. And I didn't like join a gym right off. I waited about 10 years to join the gym, and then well, I was probably like 27 whenever I started training full time again. But yeah, and now like I was actually tattooing one day, and I was watching WWE, and the person that I was tattooing was like, "Oh, you like pro wrestling?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wish that I had an opportunity to be a pro wrestler." And they're like, "Oh, well, I'm a pro wrestler, and this is where I train. If you want to come train, you can come train. Like you already do jujitsu, so you probably would fit in really good." And so I went over there, and I trained at like kind of like this like backyard spot for a minute, and then one day like this tag team came in, just to like watch these people, like watch all the people that were there train, just to see like what was there. And they're called the Dirty Blondes. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not, but Michael Patrick and Leo Bryan, they came in, and they saw me there, and they were like, "Hey, why are you here? Do you wanna come meet Jay Lethal and learn how to be a pro wrestler from Jay Lethal? Like he can help you out, and you'd learn a lot more from him, and it could help you like set you in the right direction." And so that's pretty much what happened. I went to go train one day, and I got to meet Jay, and pretty much I was like, "All right, you're stuck with me now. You're my wrestling dad. So let's just do this." And now it's brought me to where I'm at now, and I couldn't be happier.
No, I think it's absolutely awesome, and especially the fact that you have made a career of pursuing your passions, and and especially at a time that is so crazy in the world, and people are trying to figure out what the next step for them is. This is
Yeah.
something that I think people can learn from you, because again, you love Pride, jiu-jitsu, that's what you're doing, right? You love pro wrestling, you get, and a lot of people would have kind of shuddered to that deal, like, "Oh, you want to train?" And most people could have been like, "No, absolutely not. I like watching it or whatever." But you answered that call. That door was open for you. You went right through it, and then tattooing. It's something that obviously you love. And have been able to cultivate to a career that has taken you to as many heights and as many opportunities as pro wrestling has.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. They all coincide, like they all go hand in hand together. I'm very fortunate to be able to do all the things that I do, and to just have like the people on my team that I have around me like constantly, like gassing me up and like just keeping me like positive. It's like it's hard to say like that you do everything on your own, because like you need to have like a good support system, especially like now with like coronavirus and quarantine and all that. It was hard, for a lot of people to stay positive. Um, you know, just where did you go?
Yeah, but you're definitely doing it. You're definitely doing it, and I just absolutely love that you're pursuing everything.
yeah, I definitely like have to keep going and everything. Uh, it helps keep my mind busy. Oh, we're having some technical difficulties.
Wow.
What's going on with your video?
It's weird. All right. Here we go. I think we got it. Yes.
Okay. All right.
That was weird.
That was
Some
super.
weirdness happened.
I don't know. It sounded like you were in a well for a minute.
My wife says the same. No, but I mean that's amazing. Now, in terms of your wrestling career, I mean, what are some of the things that have been a little bit notable for you?
Well, definitely. I got to wrestle in the Dominican Republic. I got to wrestle in Mexico. I got to wrestle in Puerto Rico a few times, and I actually got to make history in Puerto Rico as well. I main evented the first females match. It was like the very first all female main event, and we main evented 3 shows and had like a whole year of just like a really amazing feud, me and Roxy. But yeah, it was really awesome getting to go to Puerto Rico and then make history down there, and just like I just had like some awesome matches down there, and we just like beat the crap out of each other, and like it was really sick. It was awesome.
And who was the opponent?
Her name's Roxy.
From TNA?
No, she's from Puerto Rico. She lives in Puerto Rico. She's worked for like a couple of like bigger promotions down there. Like I'm pretty sure she worked for Carlos. But we wrestled for a company called NPWA, and yeah, it was really fun. We had just like a really great time beating the crap out of each other, like all over the island.
And that style of Puerto Rican wrestling, I mean, it's blood and guts. How did you respond to it?
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? I love brutal shit. Like the bloodier the better. There was like we actually she got busted open one match, and I like took my hand and I wiped her blood, and I got it all over my hand, and I wiped it all over her boyfriend's face. right in the middle of the ring. It was pretty great. Great moment.
I think you were doing Bloodsport before it was cool.
Yeah. Why do you think I always have white gear for Bloodsport, man?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was actually
100%.
like really upset last year that nobody bled in my match. I was like, man, why did I get white gear?
I I think it's perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect. Now, I mean, obviously making history in Puerto Rico, but do you remember your first match?
My first match in Puerto Rico, or
No,
my
just
first?
in general. What
Oh
was
yeah, my first match ever. Yeah, my first match ever was like a tag match, and yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. Uh, it was me, this chick Stormy, and another girl named Jenna versus Brandy Lauren and Chelsea Diamond. So it was like a handicap tag match. It was very interesting to say the least.
and what were the nerves like?
um, you know, I feel like there's always like a little bit of nervousness just because it's like the first time I was getting out there to perform in front of a live crowd, but you know, I just like kind of channeled like how I get before I go like to compete in like a tournament, so that was like I'm lucky that I had that like to kind of like ease like the waters like going into my first match. But yeah, man, like it's your first match, so it's like, oh, don't screw this shit up, you know, like don't hurt anybody, like don't get hurt. So that's pretty much like where I was at. I just didn't want to get hurt or hurt anybody. Um, yeah, because I was like, oh, this is like, you know, perfect opportunity to like start my dream, and like the last thing you want to do is screw up your whole dream. So
No, 100%. Now, that first wrestling match and the nerves that you felt there versus maybe first jiu-jitsu competition, I mean, were there similar nerves?
yeah, it's similar, um, but like it's different. There's like different elements of pro wrestling that add into the performance. But then like with competing, uh, there I can only do as good as I've prepared. You know, you don't know your opponent most of the time. Like I mean, I guess the same could be true for pro wrestling. Like you don't know your opponent most of the time, but you know, at least with pro wrestling, there's like a lot of like video footage of pro wrestlers that you can watch, you know, like you can't just like go Google the chick in front of you at a tournament that's like never like been like had a platform to expose their game to, you know. So like there's those like differences, but I feel like I get less nervous when I'm gonna compete at a jiu-jitsu tournament than pro wrestling, just because like I don't know. I'm very confident in my skills.
No, and I mean, what are you at right now in terms of jiu-jitsu?
I'm sorry.
What belt are you in jiu-jitsu?
Oh, I'm a blue belt, but I train no-gi mostly. So I like cuz like I like doing heel hooks, and like I play like leg games a lot. You know, I like to hold, I like heel hooks, you know, all the stuff that's not legal to do in a gi. So, um, yeah, I don't really, wear my belt. I just wear spandex. Well, like sometimes I feel like a mat otter whenever I'm like head to toe in like spandex.
Well, you're talking to like a forever white belt, and what I do is like I'll do it consistently 4 to 7 times a week, consistently for 6 months, and
Mhm.
then not do it for 2 years, and then do it again for 6 months. It's kind of crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a manic thing.
Yeah. You know, I also struggle with ADD, so it's like, oh man. But luckily, like training is one thing that I have been able to be pretty consistent at, except for like quarantine kind of messed it up. But luckily, like gyms are starting to open back up again. So
No, that's amazing. Now, I mean, Stephen Tatum wants to know, in terms of favorite wrestlers growing up, who's your favorite?
I loved, well, I obviously loved The Rock. That was like he was like my like him and Goldberg were like the first wrestlers that I actually like can remember watching as like a young kid. But honestly though, like Eddie, like I watch Eddie and I watch Ray a lot. You know, Benoit too. Just like Benoit and Eddie, like their matches were so sick. Dean Malenko too. Yeah, those are all really, really like big influences on my pro wrestling style.
Yeah, and Dean, I don't think that's the credit that he's due. Him and Joe in Japan, his brother Joe in Japan. Oh,
Yeah,
I watch this all day. Like in
yeah,
all Japan.
it, yeah, it's sick. They're so good, so talented.
And I think in terms of like second generation wrestlers, like people live them off, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't get it either. It's like I don't know if it's because like they were like smaller, but like it's still like smaller dudes still like made names too, you know. I don't know. I still feel like now they're getting more recognition than they did back then.
No, 100%, 100%. Now, I mean, kind of going back a bit, in terms of, you know, your formative training in pro wrestling and then getting that first match, how much time was in between?
It was about a year. Yeah, I trained for like a year solid, and like I was still competing jujitsu during this time as well. So it was like I had my time split up. You know, some days I would go, like I'd wake up and go to jujitsu training, then I'd go lift weights, and then I'd go to pro wrestling practice at night. You know, so like my whole day was based around training. Um, and I feel like I was hesitant at first because I didn't want to like, because I knew that like once I started having matches, then like I couldn't go back to like not having matches. You know, I was like, oh, this is gonna open up the floodgates, and then I'm not gonna be able to slow down. But you know, sometimes it's good not to have breaks.
Sometimes it is like that.
Yeah, right.
Now, in terms of, you know, your I don't want to say your group love, but something that you're equally as passionate about is your, you know, tattooing. What influenced you, you know, as a young Lindsay Snow to get into tattooing?
Oh man, you just broke up so hard. I couldn't understand any of what you just said.
Oh, how did you get into tattooing?
How did I get into tattooing? Um, since like I was like a little kid, like same with pro wrestling, like it was something that always like kind of influenced me. I always knew that I was gonna like be heavily tattooed, and I don't know, it was just something that like really like struck me as as a way that I wanted to like live my life, and because it's like it's not necessarily like just my job, it's like everything about me, you know. um yeah, I guess like well, when I was little I met this lady in a grocery store, and she was super heavily tattooed, and I was just like, ever since I saw her, like that, she was like the first person that I ever like saw that was like heavily tattooed as like a woman, you know. So and she was like so beautiful too. And then once I saw her, then I realized like, you know, women can be heavily tattooed, women can do these things as well, you know. And I went to I went to school, and like I would draw on my arms every day, you know, like I'd come home with like my whole arms drawn on, and like I don't know, it was just like something that always really like appealed to me. And eventually, you know, started tattooing myself and like friends and shit, and working. I started working at a tattoo shop that was like not the best tattoo shop, and then like luckily um, someone like saw like one of my paintings at an art show, and they're like, oh, you should tattoo. And I was like, it's funny that you say that because I'm apprenticing at this shop. And they're like, that's not a good shop, you should come over here and learn from me. And so that's kind of how it all started for me too. It's pretty much like very similar to the wrestling story. Like I was started off at like a real like bad place, and then like found well, actually the shop that I'm sitting in right now, Autograph. And yeah,
Wow,
this is, and I'm back here now chilling.
that, that's awesome. What was the first?
The first tattoo that I had done professionally,
Or the one that you did yourself?
we'll go with the first professional one. Uh, it's like an atom of carbon on my left hip. Had to get it small so that my mom wouldn't freak out. And
Now,
it didn't work.
now, as an addendum, Stephen Tatum wants to know, what's your favorite tattoo?
Oh, my favorite tattoo? Oh, probably like this jaguar I just got on the side of my head. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Can you see it?
On the side. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I going? Oh, wait, here we go.
There you go. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's wild. I just got that. That was like a month ago.
Wow, that's new ink.
Yeah, Thomas Asher did it like a month ago.
That is sick. Now, obviously, your second appearance at Bloodsport. What was your first experience at Bloodsport?
Oh man, it was so killer. That was definitely like a really high point for me in my career. Just to be able to like get out there and like murder it with Sumi, man, and like to also, it was like it was like a high like no other, like because you're just like there amongst. Dude, I was there with Minowa Man. Like, are you kidding me? He was so sick, and he was so nice to talk to. You know, everybody there was just like legendary. You know, so it was just like, yeah, I'm just chilling here with Minowa Man, and like now we're friends on Instagram. Like that's cool. But it's just like it was such a crazy experience. And then like I said, like I grew up watching Pride, and like just to be in that environment that was very Pride like, especially with Pride stars, you know, it was like it was super surreal. And man, I just like I can't wait to go kill it this year. Like I'm so excited to go back and like see all of these amazing athletes just like murder each other. It's gonna be great.
No, 100%. Now, this four-woman tournament. Um, how did you first find out that was the kind of auspices that you would be involved in?
I found out about it whenever they posted it. I was like, all right, you know, like I'm no stranger to tournaments. Like this is sick. Like I'm in my environment. Like this is what I live for. So, um, you know, like you can throw anything at me, and I'm gonna be prepared, and I'm gonna do everything that I have in my power to just take home some limbs, to collect some limbs with me.
Now, does the strategy change competing in this one-night tournament with two opponents versus you just having one singular opponent?
Um, no, I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. I think that doing this all ladies tournament is something that a lot of companies have been like kind of like dropping the ball on. Um, like you know, like there's like a lot of buildup, but then like the follow through is slightly lacking. There will be none of that. I can promise you. All of the ladies involved in this tournament are all killers. Just because one of them
Yeah,
has it in her name doesn't mean that we all aren't.
literally, she's got killer in her name.
Yeah.
Killer Kelly. Now, have you competed in professional wrestling at all this year?
Yeah. I worked for NWA at the very beginning of this year. I did a circled squared match there. Then, you know, uh, I had a couple of more matches. I want to say the last spot I wrestled was in North Carolina. And then quarantine happened. And then after quarantine happened, you know, there was like no more wrestling. I was supposed to compete in the Ring of Honor all ladies tournament. So I'm just like, damn it. Like, why is this happening? Like, I had so much stuff lined up that just like, it was like, oh, yeah. And then, oh. But after quarantine, you know, luckily things are starting. Well, I guess we're still technically in quarantine, but you know, I've been fortunate to wrestle a few times. I just wrestled for Mission Pro Wrestling. I wrestled Thunder Rosa for the NWA Championship like 2 weeks ago, and then before that, I wrestled in Minnesota. So like I'm slowly like starting to take more bookings, but I've been very, very careful with the bookings that I have been taking, just because you know I've been able to do like some work with WWE lately, just like doing extra work and stuff. So like luckily like they do COVID testing before you're able to work there, and so like that's been like a really, you know, a good feeling to get tested for coronavirus and then be negative every time you get tested, because like you don't really know what's out there. And like with me traveling and stuff, you know, you just have to take extra precautions. So that's
No, without
that's
now, how much does it mean more, especially during this crazy time, to step back into that Bloodsport ring?
Oh, dude. I feel like this is the only thing that could make 2020 better. So, um, yeah, I'm so excited to be able to step back into the Bloodsport ring and to be able to compete and have an audience, and just like, I don't know, man, it's like starting to feel like life might actually go back to normal. So that's what I'm hoping and praying for, is just like for a continuance of good vibes and like good announcements happening, you know, just slowly but surely, you know. Florida, we actually opened up phase 3 on Friday. So like that was like parks, like theme parks and stuff could be at full capacity. So I went to Universal and that was pretty fun. But like I had my mask on, you know, all day long, and I got a pretty awesome sunburn from like here to here. But you know, life is slowly starting to take a turnaround, and for me, like Bloodsport would be the pinnacle of that turnaround. So
Absolutely. Now, in addition to competing for Bloodsport, I know you're a fan. So, aside from your match, what is the match that you're looking forward to the most?
oh, Moxley and Dickinson. For sure. For sure, dude. Moxley and Dickinson are just like those dudes. Oh man, like I know like Josh and Chris had a super sick match last year. And yeah, I'm a fan. So I'm really excited to see them tear it up. Yeah. Pulling for Dirty Daddy.
I actually had him on last week, and he is so pumped. And I think that was the day before he had gotten announced. You know, so
Oh,
he's hyped.
yeah, dude. Right? Yeah, that's how I felt whenever they announced that tournament. I was just like, like so excited for all this. Everybody, like, I'm not just excited for that one match though. Like, I'm excited to watch the entire card. Um, I know it's just, it's gonna be like a night to remember for sure. A night that I hope I remember.
Yeah, yeah. With all the stiff shots, you kind of everybody hopes they remember in the morning.
Yeah. I'm hoping no concussions, but maybe some blood.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And then in terms of the WWE kind of iterations, have you seen the Thunderdome aspect of
Oh
everything?
yeah, I saw it in person. It was so crazy looking. That is like probably the weirdest thing I've ever witnessed in person. It's just like seeing all of these random TV screens everywhere, and like it was really weird, like very 1984.
Yeah, I feel like we're in an Orwell, you know, kind of everything.
Everything's Orwellian like right now. I feel like has like a little touch here and there.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you do so many cool things, right? But I mean, I know you've got like down dates. Everybody has them. What are some of the things that you're reading, watching, or listening to that kind of get you back where you used to be at the highest level?
Oh man. So uh the things that help me the most in my journey are listening to I like a lot of soul music. I like Sharon Jones and the Daptones a lot. Been listening to them a lot. Um, yeah, I love watching horror movies. Um, we watched Sharktopus versus Werewolf the other day. It was pretty good. It was pretty terrible, but yeah, all those like really terrible horror movies that they play on the Sci-Fi Channel. Big ass spiders. um, yeah, I don't know. Those are definitely like just listening to like really good music. Watching like I tend to go down rabbit holes. Lately, like just been watching a bunch of really weird conspiracy theory videos and stuff like that. But it's all stuff that keeps your mind active. You know, it's not just like mindless TV. You know, I mean, I guess it kind of is, but at least it makes you think about stuff. And then, you know, I love watching cartoons too. Rick and Morty has been a solid one lately. Yeah, I can't think of any other really bad movies that I've watched lately. But Tokyo Gore Police is always a good one too.
Yeah, no, 100%. And now Stephen Tatum wants to know: do you have a favorite horror movie?
Yeah, probably Tokyo Gore Police. Can't go wrong with that. um, Tokyo Gore Police. Let's see. Well, obviously, I gotta go with Halloween. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, yeah, the classics are always good. But then like I can't turn down some good blood hoses that you can see like going all crazy. Like you cut off an arm and then all of a sudden like blood hoses squirting out.
Have you seen The Loved Ones?
No, what's that about?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's an Australian movie,
Okay,
and it's called The Loved Ones.
hold on, I'm gonna write it down.
Yes, you have to see. I'm not a fan of horror, but I mean, it's kind of like psychological. But then, I mean, you get your gore if that's what you want. Yeah, dude,
Oh,
the Loved Ones. That's kind of tippy top for me.
have you ever seen Ishi the Killer?
No, I haven't.
That's another good one.
Okay, I think I might have
Like
to.
I recently had this like crazy dental experience, and like it was so terrible. It was like the stuff that they write nightmare movies about. I was getting like a filling in the back of my mouth, and like the girl was all done with the filling and everything, and then she went to like go polish my tooth, right? And then like sliced the entire inside of my cheek, like from like gum to like the front of my mouth. And she was like, and like there was like a dental assistant working with her, and he was like, oh my God, like his eyes, I was just like, dude, you're not supposed to do that while you're in my mouth. Like, why are you making those faces? And then they're like, oh, we just cut you a little bit. And like I was all numb from getting the filling, so I didn't feel it. And I was like, oh, well, that's okay. That's probably why it tastes like iron in my mouth right now. And like they had to use like a bunch of stitches to get the whole inside of my mouth. But when I was explaining to people what happened, I was like, yeah, they made me look like Itchy the Killer.
Well,
Like
you got a reference
like
point.
he gives himself like the Glasgow smile. It's crazy.
Whew. I mean, if you get like a, you know, that kind of what is it? That almost a grinding in catch wrestling. There's like a couple grinds that you can get against your nose, against your jawline, and I'm sure that probably works a little bit more.
A little bit.
Oh man, I actually had another suggestion, but see, here's the thing. My view of horror would be like, I think I saw a documentary about Branson, Missouri, and it's kind of like what is it, like the Bible Belt version of Las Vegas.
Okay.
Like they don't curse. Everybody's like ha, 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 very anti. I mean, very established, and it freaked me out. Same thing with like toddlers in Sierra or Friday Night Nights. Like the fact that those people can exist, it freaks me out. That's
Yeah.
horrible. Like that's my view of horror.
That's funny. That's really funny. That would be your idea
So
of a horror movie,
speaking of
that
things
those
that
people
aren't so
exist.
funny,
What's that?
well, speaking of things that aren't so funny, what do people expect out of Lindsay Snow come October 11th?
Oh man, last year I feel like I let I I feel like I let myself down by not bringing it harder to sue me. So this year, like, you can expect that I will make up, and I will make up for what I lacked last year and then some. I have everything that it takes to win this entire tournament, and I feel like at the end of the night, there's only going to be one hand raised, and it's going to be mine.
Ooh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, there have been many people that have gotten you here to where you are today as a professional wrestler, a submission athlete, and a tattoo artist. So let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Yeah, as far as tattooing goes, autograph tattoo, Corner Wilson and Blanding, Thomas Asher. We got Mike Gilday here. We got Mike Gerald, Justin Marsh, Richard Marquez. Everybody up to the shop. They're all sick. They've all been like brothers to me like this whole time. So I definitely wouldn't be here without them. Then as far as pro wrestling goes, like Jay Lethal, he's who broke me in. So I'm super, super, super thankful for Jay and like all of the people that I've been lucky enough to encounter along the way. Rest in peace, Animal. He was a very, very big supporter of mine, and he's definitely missed. And as far as like jujitsu goes, Rob Kahn, Josh Couture, Eric Paulson, Josh Barnett, for sure. All the homies that have been super sick to share the craft with me and share their knowledge and beat me up. So.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Now, for those who haven't already done so, where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on social media like Facebook, The American Kaiju, Lindsay Snow. On Instagram and Twitter, I am Kaiju Power, KAIJUPOWER.
Absolutely. I followed her, and absolutely, you guys should too. I can't wait for October 11th, and especially the fact that you are participating in Bloodsport yet again. I cannot wait.
Yeah, dude, I'm beyond pumped. It's definitely going to be a night that everyone talks about for the rest of the year until we do it again.
Damn right. And I hope the next time that he does it, it's in LA. One can only hope.
Oh man, too much.
There you go. But she is the American Kaiju or Kaiju Power, Lindsay Snow. I'm According to Woods, and thank you guys.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to According to Woods YouTube.